Hi, my name is Greg. Today I want to talk about why trading is very hard and why it will be at least very hard, if not very hard, forever, like for as long as this game exists. So, first things first, we have to understand what is trading, what is this game about, and what is the nature and the whole structure of the game. So, the trading game is basically a net zero game, meaning you win when somebody loses, like poker. Or let's say you just go with the betting on your favorite sport team with your friend, and you bet $100 and he will bet $100. If you win, you get his $100, and if he wins, you will get your $100, right? So the whole net of the money is zero. So these games are called net zero games. These games are competitive, and for trading, when you win, somebody loses. Or let's say, in better words, when you buy, somebody sells, and when you sell, somebody buys. So there is a net zero. Another problem with trading is the nature of the game itself. Trading game is not like being a doctor or being a chef, or it's not even fucking close. Trading game is a strategic game. And this game is strategic because you cannot totally analyze the situation. And that is the problem. The problem is that you cannot basically know for sure. And not only you cannot know for sure, you can't even know for a big percentage, meaning you just know little all the time. Like, how many things you know about the universe? Little, right? You know a lot of things for sure, but overall, you don't know much, right? At least generally. Maybe someone is enlightened, or I don't know, supernatural powers, and you can think about it in many terms, but you get the idea, and I want you to get the idea. Alright? So, because you cannot know, this is a strategic game. And not only a strategic game, but also it is very important to manage your emotions, manage your money, and it's all because of the nature of the game, because you just can't know for sure. If you know for sure, why wouldn't you go 100% all in every single time? Because you can't know, so you just put a little bit of your money into the game. If you could have known, you would have gone all in. If you would have been sure, you would have not been worried about it at all. Like, you just bet and you just relax, right? Because like, tomorrow's sun will shine, right? But with all of those professionals, all of those analytics and analyzes and strategies and everything you can ever see and hear and read in books and in documentaries and everything, you always see some kind of stress and worry and fear. And that is because you cannot know for sure. And that is the nature of this game. So consequently, there is a bigger scope of what this game begets. And that is, you not only have to work on your analyzing, but also your strategy, your mental state, your emotional state. And this creates a structure, a process for your trading structure. So this game is strategic its mental game is so important, and the whole analysis is just one piece of the puzzle of the structure of your trading process. Meaning, if your trading process has a structure and it's like different pieces of the puzzles, one piece of the puzzle is analyzing. It could be fundamental analysis, it could be technical analysis, it could be reading the news, it could be whatever, all right? So whatever you do, that's basically a section of the puzzle of the structures that you build your process. So that is the reason why it's complicated. The reason that it is complicated is because it is very, very hard to predict and you cannot know for sure. So why trading is hard? So let's say trading would not be hard. Let's imagine a world that trading is not hard. So basically, if trading would not be hard, why workers would go to work? They can make millions of dollars with just trading. Why they go to just all the labor, even doctors, like even super rich, just big income money makers of different fields. Like I'm sure lots of them wouldn't go to work, and they are not stupid, and I'm sure that everyone has its own skills, its talents, but that is not the problem. The problem is that because it's a net zero game, it's competitive, because if everybody wins a lot of money, then who would lose a lot of money? So if everybody makes money, so who loses money? So everybody cannot win a lot of money. So basically, that world cannot exist. And so according to the data, day traders, I don't mean swing traders or position traders or basically not even investors, just day traders. 96% of them lose money. 4% do not lose money. It doesn't mean 4% make a lot of money. Just 1% make a lot of money, and half of percent just they become millionaires or whatever. So it's a competitive game, and why it's so that hard? Like, what happens to all of that people? All of they like that much percentage, really? Why? Because it's not a game that the humans created to be that way. And well, of course, humans created some infrastructures and websites and applications and all of that. But basically, trading is a game of nature of the humans, which, like, when you trade a cow for a sheep, then you have created some kind of trading game. When somebody goes and sells its gold and give money to buy a house, there is a trading game. This is not like a video game created by some sort of industry, like let's say Konami made Metal Gear, right? So it's a very hard game, but it's a game that they have created, and you just go, and it's not unpredictable and something that is programmed, and it just closed in a application.
Trading game is ever changing, yet maintaining the essence of trading game.
It's a game that is always changing by people. So for example, 40 years ago, people said, people who have been traded like 40 years ago, 50 years ago, like the old dinosaurs of the trading game, they say, and lots of them don't say like that, but lots of them do. They say the trading game was easier because they were less people, and like for example, right now there are people all over the world, and they have a computer or cell phone, and they trade. So everybody, like even a genius in the utmost worst slum, can enter the game and beat some ass. But at the like 50 years ago, there were no such things that like it is today. So games get more competitive, more complex because of all the technology and all of that. And the science is also progressing over time. Like this science is new, and like for example, with all of these technology which we have today, we have found many technical and weird stuff in trading games. So basically, we are progressing. So people makes this game more complex and take advantage, and consequently, because it is a net zero game, other people have to catch up and sharpen their edge. So this is not a joke. A lot of money gets into the game, and if you have been into the game, you have got screwed a lot of times, I'm sure. So you know what I'm talking about. And so basically, because it's a net zero game, it becomes competitive. And because it gets competitive, it consequently just builds up as a game, as a process, which gets more competitive and complex until there is an equation where a lot of money gets lost into a small group of people which know what they're doing. So I'm not saying that it should necessarily get so complex, because it does matter what happens to all of the people. So I think we are in a realm, in a world that a lot of data, and in whether you watch documentaries or learning stuff and read the books, it doesn't matter. Like there is a lot of noise and bad education there. So basically, what I want to tell is that if one day we don't live in a world of scams and noise, at least in trading world, this game will get much more complex, because then people trade based on true knowledge, not bullshit knowledge. So it gets harder to have an edge and make money, because other people also know how to trade. But today, which we have 80%, like they just don't even last in trading game in 1 year, and only 10% apply the money management. Consequently, 90% are losers so easily. So if you just do these two concepts right, I mean, you persist enough to have an edge and develop your process, and you do your money management great, you are at the top 10%. You will still not make money necessarily, but you have only very, very few percentage to compete with and win a lot of money. So that's the good news. And yeah, so you can make a lot of money by just beat some asses in trading board, but still this is so hard. And one reason is that like brokers and exchanges, especially in crypto, are so corrupt. And I will make a video about why I have came out of crypto realm almost. And I just right now just watch Bitcoin and Ethereum to trade upon, but I have traded everything. I have traded shit coins, low leverage, high leverage, medium leverage, IPO, ICO, like you name it, I have done it. But I have came out of it because I have seen how much corrupt they are. I have seen how much exchange fees are so massive when you compare it with stocks and forex and whatever. But I will make a whole video, and these are not the only reasons. There are many other reasons, and I have developed so much of the like so deep structure for altcoin, and finally I have found that that was just basically wrong because of many reasons that I will talk about in another video anyway. So make sure to subscribe and like this video so you will get that video later on. But the problem basically is that even though 90% they just gamble, like literally gamble, and there is a big percentage of money now, even though 90% basically don't use any real structure for their trading, but it's still very hard. But why? Like 90% loses money. Why still should be very, very hard? Like they gamble, they don't have any structure or whatever. Because of the nature of this game, which is a strategic game and you cannot know for sure, and the structure, the process structure which you have to develop is basically have many phases, like analysis, whether it be fundamental, news, technical, the strategy, whatever strategy. Like you have to develop your own strategy according to your structure and analysis for it. And the mental game of trading, which I would call like some kind of mental martial art, because this whole structure is interconnected. Like for example, because you cannot know and you don't know, you get stressful, right? So when you get stressful, you just uh, lose your sensibility, your rationality. So consequently, you fuck more. You just screw yourself more. So because you screw yourself by your bad decisions more, you get more anger, more sense of revenge, more all kinds of bad emotions. So consequently, you just screw more. You just make more irrational decisions. So because you had not good technical analysis or you couldn't be much sure, you fuck more. You just get screwed. You just fuck things more, right? So because you fuck things more, destroy yourself more, and you will burn yourself to the ground, and it will happen for everyone. And you just can't be a good trader without experiencing it. Like, for example, if someone comes to you and you haven't got punch ever in your life, you can't be a good martial artist, right? You can read all the books, you can have the best coaches, but you just have to get yourself dirty. And in trading, you will get yourself dirty by just losing and getting screwed. You will lose almost, I think almost everybody loses at least once all of their money. And the reason is that it's like your emotions hunts you so badly that you will go into the downward spiral emotional pattern. And because emotions take over your mental state, you will just screw it all. And that is just one part of trading, and you cannot control yourself without experience. And it's like you just can't win as a professional boxer without having been in boxing match. Like if you have been in boxing match, you will get some punches. It doesn't matter who you are. And in trading, you cannot be millionaire without experiencing big losses. So you will get big losses, and that will make you more humble. So you get more humble, you get more wise, you just think more long term, you get smaller because you have got more humble. Like, but what makes you humble? The market. The experience makes you humble. Reading books doesn't make you humble. They may help you to get more humble faster and recognize this and just get your shit together faster, but they will not make you humble. And that humility is also part of the structure, part of the character which you have to develop and get into you and build yourself. So it's like a function in mathematics, right? You put a number in a function, and that function gets another number, like begets another number. So in trading, you become into the trading game and you get fucked and screwed and you just gets fucked. And you just go forward, and that's getting screwed and beating up and getting fucked numerous of times makes you another person. And that person is a person which will get you to your goal, which is being millionaire or just being successful in this game.
My father had so much unnecessary worrying and stress when I was a child, so I developed a characteristic of not being worried much at all and be less worried.
So imagine if you had this talent, how much your trading would be easier. Like just imagine that. Like that is like having a supernatural power in trading. Like I'm seriously, you just don't worry that much about trading, or even 10% less anxiety is have dramatic effect and can have dramatic effect. Like imagine that your anxiety would be like 80% less for whatever reason. That is so crazy because of the structure that I have taught. Every piece of the puzzle is connected to another piece of the puzzle of this structure of your process. So you have to have some sort of characteristic, some sort of talent, and just hard working probably is not enough. And you also may have some special situation, like for example, a lot of people which they fail in trading because they just don't have more money to bet. They have less at all. So if you have a rich wife or mother or something which generates money for you, then you are so far ahead. And that is something that I would suggest to people who begin this journey to have, like something to generate money alongside your trading. And but it has its own problems because if it's your second job, you just can't put a lot of time and effort into it and a lot of other things. But I will talk about it in another video or another series of videos. But I just wanted to mention it. If we review the whole discussion, basically, the trading is hard. I'm sorry. The trading is very, very hard.
You don't know how to play first base. Scott?
That's right.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
And it will be hard because of the nature of the game and nature of the humans, because of their competitiveness, their greediness, their fear, and nature of the game, which is unpredictable and it's net zero game. So even if in like say thousands of years from now, humans are trading and winning rate is like instead of 4% or 1% be like 20%, it's still a hard game. It would be not very, very hard game, but it still is a hard game. And these are fundamental stuff of trading. These are not accessory or just, these are the foundations of trading. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will make a lot of other videos about very deep stuff in trading. I will eventually come forth and reveal many stuff which have not ever been released in trading world. And I had my own inventions and discoveries in trading, and I will put them forth for the world. And so make sure to subscribe and possibly like. Thank you.